Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat.
Thank you for, I love it when they talk back. That's so great. I'm so happy you've all joined us here at PJTC to celebrate Shabbat. And we also happen to be celebrating oh, here she is. We also happen to be celebrating our good friend Tova becoming bat mitzvah this particular Shabbat. So whether you're here for one, the other, both, neither, we're glad you're here. And whether you're coming in on Zoom, wherever you're coming from, you're in the right place. And we're very happy to have you. So just a couple of quick PSAs, a couple of public synagogue announcements before we get started. We are going to be singing quite a bit, and this is a musical community, that's just us, but we'd love it if you'd become a part of that musical community this week, and that means if you know the song, kind of know the song, would like to know the song, and you want to sing along with us or give it a try, that's okay, whether it's with your voice, whether it's percussive chairs or people sitting next to you. However you want to make noise and join in, we'd really like you to do that. And even if you're on mute, when we can't hear you, we can feel you. And I know sometimes I do my best singing when I think no one can hear me. So please join into this musical community. We'll be singing out of a prayer book. We have a Siddur. There's also another paperback version that has transliterations. If you're still working on that Hebrew, that's okay. If you're on Zoom, you may be able to click and open up a virtual version of this Siddur that I'll be calling page numbers out of here shortly. Quick note on safety, but instead of, this isn't a safety announcement, this is a gratitude announcement. I've been thinking about this a lot this week. I am so grateful to all of you who have gotten vaccinated. And I'm kind of liking that this is the new greeting. You know, it used to be like, Shalom Aleichem, live long and prosper. It's cool, we're vaccinated. That's a new greeting that people have. Thank you. Because the more people who join this club of being vaccinated, the sooner that we are going to do things with fewer masks and less distance. Speaking of masks, you notice that we're not wearing masks right now. We've been kind of isolating together this week, 18 months. And Tova is way over there. And so you'll notice that anytime we cross over to help Tova out with part of the service, we'll be putting our masks on. Anytime the family comes up, they can take their masks off to be close to Tova. But anytime we mix, we're masking up. And that's another point of gratitude. I'm really grateful to everybody who keeps their mask up during the entire service, regardless of vaccination status. And that's a decision that we've made as a community, as a condition for us getting back together again. And we really appreciate people who are abiding by that so that we can get back together. And then we have to keep this safety stuff for as long as necessary, but not a second longer.
Yes, please.
So thank you very much for abiding by that. Did I miss anything? Oh yes, it's Shabbos. So let's sing about it. There's a wonderful song that we like to start with where we talk about welcoming angels into our homes and into our hearts to bless us for Shabbat and then we see them on their way at the end. It's Shalom Aleichem. It's on page 13, and we'd love it if you'd sing along with us.
Sharet Malachei Elyon Mi Melech המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. מלכים לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
I forgot to mention in that song, they have one of my favorite parts of Jewish music, especially the kind we sing here. There was a part where we weren't singing words, we were just going da 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 da.
Yes, we were.
And we have a few songs like that, and those are my favorite songs because it means everybody already knows the words. So if you hear something like that, please feel free to chime in. A custom that we have here in the beginning of the Friday night service, even as we're raising the volume in here and the lights are going down outside, we do like to increase the light in our homes and in our hearts for Shabbat. And we do that by lighting special Shabbat lights. And we have a blessing for that. And it's a custom for people to get together to do that. And tonight, we have Marcy Green, Sandy Olison, and Shoshana and Maya and Tova Rosenbaum are going to get together right over there to light candles and share the blessing for the lighting of the candles. Sometimes we have them up here, but here at PJTC, we're all about accessibility, so we're making it happen, y'all.
Take your mask off. Uh-oh. It's not lighting. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Sweetheart. Good job. Good Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom.
Well done. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. One thing I forgot to mention while we're having a little transition here is that because we are live streaming these services and everything is sort of passively captured, that means that nobody needs to take pictures of anything and nobody needs to record anything, so you can give your phones and other devices a Shabbat as well. So we've got you covered. Feel free to tuck that stuff away and be present in the moment. So part of this service, part of, let's say, its job to do, as some of my teachers would say, is it helps us ascend. We go from the lower level, the lower realm of the weekday into the higher realm of Shabbat, and we do that by means of a sulam. And a sulam in Hebrew, it means ladder. It's the same word that they talked about Jacob seeing angels coming up and down from heaven. And so it means a ladder, but it also means a musical scale. In modern Hebrew, the same word for ladder is used for a scale, like every good boy does fine. Was it FACE, every good boy does fine? The scale. And so we're going to climb that ladder with some songs.
What did you say? Every good boy does fine.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
That was my piano teacher.
Okay.
So we're going to climb that ladder so we can ascend into the holiness of Shabbat, and we have songs for that, starting with Lachuna Ranana on page 15. Page 15.
Ali, we're going to go to Tova. Even though we're both singing, she's going to be leading us.
Lechune ranena, lechune ranena, lechune ranena, Adonai. Lechune ranena, lechune ranena, lechune ranena, Adonai. Naria, naria, letzuri sheinu, nekaka fana bezalta. Naria, naria, letzuri sheinu, bismil hotariado. Lechune ranena, lechune ranena, lechune ranena, Adonai. Lechune ranena, lechune ranena, lechune ranena,
לאדוני, כי על גדול אדון על כל אלוהים, אשר בידך כדי ארץ אשר. אל תשמעו אשר ניסונים אותי.
Arba'im shana akut v'joy v'homai amtoei lefavem v'em lo yadu terachai asher nishmati le'avi im yavon el menuchati.
Continue climbing the ladder with Lacha Dodi. We're going to start on page 22. Page 22.
For those of you who are wondering why is it that we start on page 22, is because we've chosen this musical setting that happened to choose the last four, but we'll go back to the first ones, or maybe we'll pick the first one and the last one at some point. In the meantime, page 22.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat likabela. 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 Likabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat likabela.
Yamin u'smol tifrotzi v'et Adonai taritzi. Al yad ish ben parti v'nismecha v'nagila.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat likabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat likabela.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'etzola. Tochem b'nei am segula, boi chala, boi chala.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat likabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat likabela.
Try that again with us.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat likabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat likabela. Lecha שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated if you wish. We're going to continue with the sort of the final rung on the ladder for Kabbalat Shabbat, this service of welcoming the Sabbath, with a psalm for Shabbat, a special psalm just for Shabbat. And I would like to call up Ellie and Leah Olison and their father Sean Olison to lead us in the psalm for Shabbat.
It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God.
To affirm your love each morning and your faithfulness each night, to the music of the lute and the melody of the harp.
Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy with your creation.
How vast your works, Adonai.
Your designs are beyond our grasp.
The thoughtless cannot comprehend. The foolish cannot fathom this.
The wicked may flourish, springing up like
Grass. Their doom is sealed, for you are supreme forever.
Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish. All the wicked shall crumble.
But
me you have greatly exalted.
I am anointed with fragrant oil. I have seen the downfall of my foes. I have heard the despair of my attackers.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they will thrive in the courts of our God.
They shall bear fruit even in old age. They shall be ever fresh and fragrant to proclaim, Adonai is just, my rock, in whom there is no flaw.
Amen. Perfectly done. Perfectly done. Now, if you'll stay on page 23, there's also a song that goes with this particular psalm, and Tova is going to lead us.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי דבר, עלי יום וחיון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידך, במעשה ידך אענן. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר את שמך עליון ולזמר את שמך עליון מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך יא 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 לה יא 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 לה יא 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 מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר את שמך עליון ולזמר את שמך עליון ולזמר לשמך
Well, if you're just joining us, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center. This is like a fine restaurant. We have multiple seatings and we require reservations. So we're glad you've come to be here with us tonight. We are in Parashat Re'eh. And Tov and I have been studying Parashat Re'eh together. This is one of my favorite parshiot for reasons which I hope will become clear in a moment. And lucky me, we get to say this several times during the year, Parashat Re'eh. It happens that, like all the other Torah portions, it's on this fixed reading cycle, this fixed lectary, as the theologians call it. So we read it around this time every year, but we also read it on special occasions. It's part of the fixed reading, typically for the second day of a festival. And the quick answer to why that is that in Parashat Re'eh, there are lots of good things. Like a lot of Deuteronomy, it's sort of a grab bag, because it's Moses giving his final speech to the people in his charge. And it's like when you take your kids to college and you can't spend that first night in the dorm with them as much as you'd like to, and as much as they would love that. At some point you have to let go. And there's that moment, like right as you're letting go, where every little bit of wisdom you forgot during their first 18 years, it just sort of trips off your tongue. By the way, this, and by the way, that. Don't forget to separate whites and colors. Everything's coming out at once. And so a lot of the parshiot in Devarim, in Deuteronomy, seem to have a lot going on. And in Re'eh, we have some very important guidance on tzedakah. Very important guidance, not just on tzedakah in terms of charity, but also in terms of justice and restorative economic justice and having a more equitable society. And our friend Tova is going to talk more about that tomorrow. Also in Parashat Re'eh, there's ways to handle death and mourning. How do you conduct yourself in a way that's healthy when you are in mourning? It also has what I call a calendar drill, if you will. It's one of the places in the Torah where it goes over all the different holidays that we have, and that's why we read it during multiple holidays. Because, we have a great Torah reading for the first day, and then we say, oh, it's the second day, what are we going to read? Let's read Parashat Re'eh. It talks about holidays. And so we get to read it 4 or 5 times a year. It also opens up with a reminder that Judaism is huge on free will. Whereas some people look at the story of the tree of knowledge of good and evil in the garden as our first mistake, as something that impairs us permanently and indelibly before we're born, we look at it as the gift of free will, suddenly we have knowledge of good and evil. And as soon as we get that, we get responsibility to do good. And God says that to us in the beginning of this parsha through Moses. Because Moses says, look, God is putting before you blessings and curses. Do good, and you will receive blessings. Do bad, and you won't. And then it proceeds to give us some good and bad things to do or not do. My favorite part is connected to what you'll hear about tomorrow when it talks to the proper way to conduct yourself around the needy. And Tova's going to give you those details, so please come back tomorrow. But I want to look at it on a little bit higher level. What this particular instruction says about how God sees us. I always notice every year this paradox in chapter 15 of Deuteronomy, where it starts off in verse 4, Eves ki lo yeh b'cha evyon. There shall be no needy among you. That's verse 4. Verse 7, it says, if, however, there happens to be a needy person among you. I know what I said, but just in case. And then by verse 11, it says, there shall never cease to be needy ones among you. So, what's with the whiplash? Is this an inconsistency? Is this a weakness on the part of the Torah? Chas v'shalom. See, Rashi, a commentator from what is now France from about 1,000 years ago, loved stuff like this. Loved places in the Torah where there was an apparent contradiction so that he could reveal to students who might be misguided that there wasn't. That rather than leading us down the wrong path, this was actually set up to clarify the right path. Rashi looks at verse 4, it says, there shall never be needy among you. And then down below, there will always be needy among you. And Rashi says that the first statement is, let's say, aspirational. Because right after that it says, there shall be no needy among you, since the Lord your God will bless this land, if only you heed the Lord your God and take care to keep all the instructions that God is giving you. So if you follow this whole speech I've been giving you this whole time, not me, but Moses, there shall be no needy among you. If you're perfect, everybody eats. But just in case you're not. And that's what I love about this passage. This is the Torah telling us, just in case you're not perfect. And that's important. Because another important distinction between how we read this book and how other people might read this book is this book wasn't given to perfect people. Perfect people don't need a book. You just pull the string and they follow the program. God doesn't love us because we're perfect. God doesn't love us if we're perfect. God loves us because we're perfectible. Because we could look at two paths and sometimes we get it right. And that's beautiful because we did it. It puts before us an ideal, a world filled with economic justice, between parity. Maybe they're saying there should not be a permanent underclass, and that's why the prior passage talked about a regular remission of debts, so that people could be restored, some dignity once in a while. That's why elsewhere it talks about Yovel, so that every 50 years the slate would be wiped clean and people would be restored to their families who had been put into debt slavery. And perhaps these are ideals, perhaps these are dreams. But it's okay to dream. And God is telling us that. And God is telling us that multiple times a year because it's in Parshat Re'eh. That's how important it is for us to hear that. So, I'd like you to occasionally, when you open the Torah, and I highly recommend that you do, to not see it as, let's say, maybe a dusty old story written by and for Stone Age shepherds, and largely men, but written as a guide for people just in case you're not perfect. Shabbat itself is supposed to be a taste of the world to come, an imagination of a perfect world in which we study the rules of just in case you're not perfect. If you see imperfection in the world, that's okay, because now you get to do something about it. So I'll leave you with this. Just in case you're not perfect, thank God. Thank God you're not perfect, because that means that there's so much more good that you get to do. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for joining us here at PJTC. We're going to continue with our Mariv evening prayer service. That starts with the Baruch Hu, our call to blessing. That's on a page, and it's page 28. And Tova is going to lead us in the Baruch Hu. We rise and face the ark.
Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai.
Umavir yom umevi laila, umavtiyo ben yom umevi laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu, leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Baruch Shemo.
Amarim Oramim.
Amen. We bless God. You may be seated if you wish. We bless God for the light and also for the evening dusk. We now bless God for the constancy of God's love. Ahavat Olam on page 29. Page 29.
Ahavat olam ve'et Yisrael Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shachveinu uvkumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
You can continue with the next passage at the bottom of page 30 at your own pace, and we'll get back together in just a moment. We continue at the top of page 31 with Tova leading us.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור,
דבר אל בני ישראל,
ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית, על כנפי ביתיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף את שלט החלת, והיה לכם לציצית וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
אמת אמונה כל זאת הקיים עלינו ויאמר.
On page 32, we bless God for light. We bless God for God's love. We now bless God for God's nature as a redeemer, answering us when we call. And we have a song in the middle that calls to mind the song at the sea where we sang, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, our God, among all who are worshipped.
Let's join together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא, תהילות עושה תפארת, מלכותך
night before we go to bed, we have the opportunity to bless God for helping us to lie down in peace. And I'd like to call up Allison Gostlin, who's going to share the Hashkivenu with us on page 33. Page 33.
Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, and watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace, now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Amen. Well done. We're now going to continue with the song for Hashkivenu on page 33, the other page 33.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom le'amidenu Malkeinu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom le'amidenu Shomereinu lechaim Yeshua Tzidkeinu U'aleinu Lechaim u'leshalom Me'ata ve'olam Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom le'amidenu Malkeinu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom le'amidenu Shomereinu lechaim Shalom Shalom Shalom, 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 shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom aleinu. ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
We continue on page 34, with Tova leading us in Vishamru.
Drum roll.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ולעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ולעולם. לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת
הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל
את
שבת
השבת,
את השבת לדורות הברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם.
וביום השביעי שבת נפש, שבת נפש, שבת
נפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית
יתגדל ויתקדש שמם רבה.
אמן.
עמדי בקירוצי והמליך מלכותי, וחייך עוד ביום אחד, וחיית לכל בית ישראל.
בגלה ובזמן קריב אמן יהא רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולם ועולמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה.
בריחו
לילה מן כל ברכתה, ושירתה.
תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ואלמה. Amen.
We rise and face the ark for the Amidah for Shabbat evening on page 35b. This is a silent or a private Amidah, so make room for your own personal prayers. When you are finished with your personal prayers, you may be seated. We'll get back together in a couple of moments.
אמן. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, אמן, אמן. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. ועל כל ישראל, amen.
כן יהי רצון.
We conclude the Amidah with the Kaddish Shalem on page 48. Page 48.
יתגדול ויקרא שמם רבה,
Amen.
ועמדי בקרתי והמליך מלכותי, וחי אחרונים יום אחרונים חיי תחול בית ישראל, וגלו בזמן קריב ואמרו.
אמן. יהי שמם רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי יומיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתשמע ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקדשה.
Brichu.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן ביומה ואמרו.
אמן.
תקבל צאתון ובאותון, דחו ישראל, קודם מבון בשמיה ואמרו.
אמן.
יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו.
אמן.
עושה
שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל. Amen.
Mishkach. We're about to begin to end the service with Aleinu on page 51. Before we do, I'd like to call up Paula Goldman and Simone Oliver to open the ark for us. And as we are about to open the ark, I'll ask you all to please rise and join us in Aleinu on page 51. Page 51.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שעונות השמיים. על כן נקווה לך אדוני אלוהינו לראות מרב תפארת וזכר. כי המלכות שלך היא, ולעולמיה תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
The ark is closed. You may be seated. Well done. Even as we gather together in these times of joy, we also pause to remember with honor those who've left the world before us. This week here at PJTC, we are marking the yahrzeit, and that is the anniversary of the passing of Aaron David Schwartz, Adeline Gold, Andrew Carr, Anna Weisfeld, Barry Joel Kustner, Barrick Winter, Brenna Davidson, Brooke Freeman, Charlotte Tobias Eben, Daniel Lyon, David Groman, Donald Kate, Dora Rosenzweig, Evelyn Kaplan, Francis Martin, Gloria Rosenthal, Harry Kurtz, Chaim Hacker, Hecht Ann, Howard Schaefer, Israel Bornkraut, Jack Neinberg, Jenny Katzman, Julius Walter, Leah Bornkraut, Leisure Friedman, Leo Chesson, Lily Goodman Baker, Mary Landau, Max Kremars, Max Rabiner, Merle Lynn Kleckner, Miriam Orloff, Rachel Shemish, Radu Fintescu, Robert Newman, Ruth Ackerman, Ruth Glick Cohen, Saul Landau, Seymour Solomon Lambert, Stanley Regelson, Susan Schwartz, Tema Davidson, Tony Ness, Zelda Fain, and Zygmunt Goldberg. If there's another name that you'd like to lift up in honor at this time, I ask you to please hold their name in your heart or say their name out loud wherever you are. And if you're in mourning for anyone or observing a yahrzeit, please rise and join us in the Mourner's Kaddish on page 52. Page 52. Let's pray together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ba'alma divra kirute v'amlik malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach le'olam v'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal Shmei dekudsha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. You may be seated if you're standing. Before we conclude our service, we have a few presentations of gifts and kind words and blessings for our good friend Tova. We're going to have presentations from the USY, our youth group, as well as our sisterhood and our men's club, starting with the USY presentation, which will be given by Maya Rosenbaum. Oh, do you know her? Okay.
Hi, I'm Maya, for anyone who doesn't know. I'm Tova's sister, and I'm speaking on behalf of USY today. Mazel tov, Tova. You did great this evening. Not that I expected any different, to be honest. You've been preparing for so long, and I've seen how much effort you put into learning everything, even going above and beyond with just how many prayers you're learning. And after watching services almost every week for the past year, I'm sure you're more than ready. This year didn't go quite as we had planned, at all, but we finally made it. You did amazing tonight, and I already know that you're going to do even better tomorrow morning. Today, I'm presenting you with a B'chol Echad, which is a book full of songs that's commonly used in regional USY events. Hopefully, you and I will be able to go away to a board retreat together next year, as we are both on the board now. This will definitely be useful at any of the other events that you hopefully choose to attend, and I hope you can get a lot of use out of it. Congratulations again on tonight, and good luck tomorrow. I love you.
Yes, Koach. I'd now like to call up Judy Callahan to make a presentation on behalf of the PJTC Sisterhood.
Standing apart. So virtual hugs. You just did an amazing job tonight. I have watched you grow from your B'nai Simcha days into a beautiful young woman. You are talented. I know you play the flute. I know you love art. I was really, really impressed by your mitzvah project for your bat mitzvah. The fact that not only have you learned all the prayers and you're doing it also beautifully tonight, but that you're making tapes and I don't know, videos or tapes to help those who come after you have an easier job of it and also be able to learn and to share the knowledge you've gained. And that is really a beautiful thing to do. On behalf of Sisterhood, I am presenting you with the Kiddush Cup. Wherever life takes you and wherever your journeys go, I hope that when you use the cup, you'll remember this day and how proud everyone here is of you and everyone out there. And Mazel Tov, you just did incredible.
Yeshkoach, Judy. And now I'd like to call up Eric Schlecht, who's going to make a presentation on behalf of the PJTC Men's Club.
Hi, Tova. I'm Eric. On behalf of Men's Club, on this happy occasion of your becoming bat mitzvah. I don't think we've met before, unlike Judy, but I feel like we have. As your sister alluded to, I've seen you many times on Zoom, and it's been amazing to see how enthusiastic you are. And then I found out, oh, you're going to lead the whole service here tonight and tomorrow with maybe a little help from Cantor Ruth and Rabbi Carrier. And the videos also, that's a great thing. You show your fellow students how it's done. On top of singing in the chorus and math field day and school and being in USY. So you're an officer? Or you're going to be an officer in USY? On the board. Cool. That's great. So anyway, to business. So Men's Club is presenting you with this yad. Wow, it's the old style with your name on it. Cool. So this will help you to read the Torah tomorrow. So Men's Club's mission is to pass on Jewish Torah and traditions and learning, culture, lore, and the way that you've thrown yourself into it with such enthusiasm just makes this old men's clubber proud. And I know your parents and your family and friends are proud as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing you read tomorrow morning. Maybe you'll come back and read even afterwards. Anyway, Yasha Koach, Shabbat Shalom, Mazel Tov. And should I just leave it here? Until tomorrow.
Yeshkoach, Eric, thank you. In just a moment, we are going to end the service as we began the service, and that is in joyous song, and then we hope you'll stick around for Kiddush. How we're doing Kiddush these days is that we're going to lead the Kiddush on everybody, sort of on everybody's behalf from up here. The family's going to lead the Kiddush up here. We invite you at that time, you'll sort of rise and you'll be present while we're leading Kiddush, and then afterwards, we're going to open up those doors, and there is individual-sized bread and juice back there if you want to join in that way. But we're going to make Kiddush up here first, and then you can grab some snacks in the back and schmooze in the fresh air at your leisure. So with that, and also I did want to say that Tova did request to also call all the page numbers tonight, but my union rep intervened. So that's why she's only reading everything
That's
else.
actually funny.
Thank you. I've been practicing. So with that, like I said, we're gonna end as we began. That's singing, and it always sounds better and feels better if you're standing up. So please rise and join us for Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shalom, shalom. Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shalom, shalom.
Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbos!
So stick around. We're going to make Kiddush up here if you're at home in Zoom land or Facebook land or YouTube land or Swazi land, wherever you're coming from. If you want to grab a celebratory beverage of your choice and meet us right back up here.
Actually, Allie, we're going to go back to the family. They're going to be doing Kiddush. Guess what? Surprise.
We love surprises.
Okay, so why don't we have all of you there in the camera?
Tova gets the big
Come
cup.
on, get close. Scooch in, pretend you like each other.
Just make sure you take the plastic off first. I'm not doing that again.
Together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'avad ratzon hihilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tefillah l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim
Kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta im kol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ava uvratzon inchaltanu.
Baruch atah Adonai
Amen.
L'chaim. grape juice.
All righty, before we make
Metallic.
motzi, just a quick washing of the hands here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim.
Amen. And we'll go back there. Lift up the challah so everyone can see. And let's do it together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tehavot. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Good Shabbos, everybody. If you have like a little nosh and juice, they're in the back there.
Shabbat shalom, people in Zoom land.
Feel free to grab
Bye,
some.
Rhonda. Bye. I can't see Steph. You're there. I can't see. I don't have my glasses. The Zangwills are there. Super good. Shabbat shalom, everyone.